And good evening, I'm Tracy Sinclair here at Alaska's News Source, and we just wanted to jump in real fast and do kind of a quick update. We know it's early. We still have a good 34 minutes before the polls close here in Alaska, so that doesn't mean things aren't going on around the state. And one of the things that we want to talk about is really what's at stake for this election. Of course, we're all watching anxiously and eagerly about the national election, but we're also, of course, curious about what's going on in the state of Alaska. And one of those things, the reason that we're watching it, is we've got 50 seats up for re-election or election. They're up for grabs in this. There will be 40 House seats and 10 Senate seats. This could change the power dynamic down in Juneau. And of course, one of the big races that we're all focused on will be the race for the U.S. House. We're looking at Representative Mary Peltola. She is the incumbent, and challenger Nick Begich. Those are the two primary candidates for this race. And one of our people, Steve Kirch, is down with the Mary Peltola, or excuse me, yes, you're down with Mary Peltola and her watch party. I don't know if we've seen her yet, but Steve, how's it going down there? What's the mood? I know we don't have any results in, but how are people feeling about the day?
Yeah, I'm here at 49 State Brewing, where Mary Peltola's campaign is having a watch party. In fact, people are handing out these Mary Peltola little signs here with her face on it. Many people here are just still filling in the room here. It's hard to get a sense on what the mood is right now because a lot of people just arrived within the last maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and they're grabbing food, you know, getting these little signs here. Mary Peltola was supposed to be here. I mean, her staff, when I talked to them, said she's supposed to be here about 5 minutes ago. It looks like she's running a little late. We haven't heard any signs of her arriving, haven't heard her staff arriving yet. But right now, I imagine everybody's just trying to settle in here, get ready, and see those election results when they come in. And, you know, this is supposed to be a close race, so we're going to see what happens.
And so, Steve, as somebody that covers election nights and has done the political reporting for so long, what do you think, how is the energy just for you on a day like this? What's it like for you to be covering a race like this?
Well, you know, like a lot of things, you know, happen on days like this. You know, surprises, a lot of anxiousness. You know, like this race is a little bit different from the one that Mary Peltola ran a couple years ago, where, you know, she was going up against multiple Republicans, Nick Begich, Sarah Palin. This time around, she's pretty much got a one-on-one race with Nick Begich. So I think there's a lot of, you know, anxiousness to see how those first early results come in, considering this is going to be a one-on-one race, which is what the Republicans wanted. They wanted that one-on-one matchup with Mary Peltola this time around, instead of them, as Nick Begich's campaign said, instead of them splitting the vote like they did a couple years ago, with Nick Begich splitting it with Sarah Palin in those first early results. So it's going to be, you know, I think people are just kind of like really anxious about to see how those first results come in.
And so one of the other things that we're going to be watching tonight, I mentioned it just a few minutes ago, are all of the state house and the state legislative seats that are going to be up for grabs. And that's 50 different seats. You are a Juneau reporter, of course, so you deal with this a lot. Is there anything particular that you're looking at on the state level that is going to be of interest tonight?
Yeah, we've covered this before, but the one that's going to be really interesting is that Eagle River Senate race, with Kelly Merrick going up against Jared Gerker. Lee Hammermeister's in that race. That one's going to be the one that's going to be really interesting to watch, because that would be a balance of power shift within the Senate. You know, Kelly Merrick is a Republican, but, you know, one of the criticisms coming against her from her Republican challengers, specifically in the primary, was that she caucused too much with a bipartisan Senate majority. And some more conservative-leaning candidates did not like that. They felt like that's not a good representation for Eagle River. So that's going to be one to watch, because Jared Gerker, when I talked to him a couple months ago, when he was running in that primary, he felt very confident about this race, and that, you know, this could be a change of power in the Senate. And with things like education and defined benefits and PFD, you know, going to be hot topics again next legislative session. that's where we could see a little shift if Jared Gerker is able to pull out that race.
Well, that is going to be one that we are going to continue to watch. And we do have a crew as well that is heading toward the Nick Begich campaign office. So Steve, I'm going to let you go so you can kind of check out what's going on, and hopefully we will see, is that Representative Oh, I heard clapping. I wasn't sure if that was Representative Peltola coming in.
No, I think they were clapping for the band. It wasn't Mary. You kind of got me on there too. I thought maybe Mary was coming in, but just the band.
We were hopeful that we would see Representative Peltola. But Steve, I'm going to let you go so that you can go ahead and keep gathering information as you do. We'll talk to you later on tonight. Now, we're also, as I said, we do have a crew that is headed toward the Nick Begich campaign watch party as well. We not there yet, so I'm going to put this just kind of on pause, and I will come back as soon as we get them on camera and kind of get a feel for what's going on over at the Nick Begich campaign too. So just hold it with us for just a few minutes and we'll be right back. And I did get word that our crew from the at the Begich Watch Party is almost ready. They are just missing a cable, so they're going to be up here in just a few minutes. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be expecting and talking about tonight, and those 50 seats in the Alaska Legislature, 40 seats. All of the House up for re-election, as happens, and then 10 of the Senate seats. And so really what we're expecting to see here is we could see some of the majorities, kind of some of their power erode just a little bit. All 40 seats in the State House will be up for grabs. There is a Republican majority, and the Bush caucus votes with them on certain issues, but we are watching about 16 different races that could impact some of the power of that Republican majority. And also in the Senate, 20 members, they have a 17-person bipartisan majority. Overall, it looks like that majority is probably going to hold. We believe they'll probably end up with about 12 seats, 10 of which, of course, because they are not up for re-election, and a couple where the incumbent, won them so handily during the primary that we're really just expecting them to hold their seats during the general. But there are about 3 or 4 races that could shift, if not party, could shift maybe some have ideological changes, either become more or less conservative than what they're saying in the bipartisan majority. So we will continue to watch those as well. And like I said, I'm just waiting for our crew to get set up down at the Begich campaign watch party. So we'll be back in just a few minutes with that. And so joining me now, of course, John Thompson, you will be on our election desk tonight.
Yes.
With Rebecca Polsha. We were talking earlier with Rebecca. What was your experience like from a voting world?
Oh.
Mine was really calm.
Was it?
Like there was no lines. We talked about these huge lines over the weekends.
Right.
And so overall, I think most people that I've talked to have spoken of pretty calm experiences.
I mean, so I drove down to the Division of Elections office on Saturday, and the plan was to vote, but I could not even find a place to park. I think I saw some pictures online that wrapped around the building in terms of the line, so I just backed off. I said, I'm going to shoot my shot on Tuesday morning. I went down at 7 o'clock over to Baxter Elementary School, and at 7 o'clock, there were a lot of people lined up, right? So it was about 15 minutes, but that's it, about 15 minutes, nice process. My producer for the 4 o'clock, Jennifer Summers, she went to Baxter about 10:15, I think, and she got in and out, so.
Yeah, that's about when I went, as I was trying to miss the rushing to work crowd or going to vote on my lunch crowd. I was trying to get happy in the middle, so I went about 10:15, also over in East Anchorage. And really, there was one person in line ahead of me. When I came out, though, a line had kind of started to form. There were a number of people that were moving in behind me, but they were going in pretty quickly. It seemed like overall. We will, of course, continue to watch to see if there were any issues at any of the elections places. What are you most excited to kind of see the results of for tonight's election?
I just some finality, you know. I mean, all this anticipation, all the buildup, all the commercials, all the money spent, and now this is it.
It's done in one night.
It's done in one night. We've got a great crew, of course. Are you going to be on the touchscreen tonight?
I am going to be on the touchscreen talking about the balance of power in Juneau and some of the tight races that we're watching. And we are waiting for our crew down at the Begich office. They are looks like they're getting their mics on and getting set up, which will be great, so we can check in with them. We've already just talked to Steve Kirch. He's down at the Peltola campaign watch party, so we're just kind of waiting to hear what's going on and what they're seeing down at the Begich watch party as well.
Going around the horn. Then we got Joe Cadot here keeping an eye on ballot measure 1 and 2, right?
Those will also are very hotly contested, and again, we expect. I actually don't know what the mood is on either of those.
It's hard to get a good feel.
Yeah,
right?
because you see so many ads.
Right.
But I don't know what the actual what the results will be for people.
Nope, but we will know soon enough.
So,
very excited.
Yes, hopefully we're going to see some results here. I would say in about an hour. That's what we're hoping for. But of course, ranked choice voting in Alaska, we will not actually see in many of these races with multiple candidates. We won't see a result until the 20th of November.
There you go. And Tracy Sinclair wrote a great write-up on alaskasnewssource.com with the important dates, so you have a better idea of kind of the process and when we're going to know what we'll know.
Yeah, and so we've got a couple weeks before we're going to find out in some of the races. The threshold, of course, is 50% plus 1 vote, and if a candidate does reach that, and we know that some of them they handily won their primary, so we are expecting to see them go. So thanks for jumping on with me. I'm going to put us on pause for just a second while I go ahead and check to see where the guys are down at the Begich watch party, and we'll get that going. We'll be right back here in just a second.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can see there are a lot of people behind me. They're dressed up, not just fancily dressed up, but also in lots of different gears. You can probably see right over my shoulder. Fox News is on the wall. Nick Begich, I don't believe, is here just yet. We're awaiting his arrival, but people here are definitely excited, watching the results very, very closely as they come up one by one on screen on these projectors behind us. But yeah, just a lot of energy here at the downtown Marriott. People are looking forward to seeing that final result. You know, we talk a lot about how the focus has been on the presidential election. Of course, there are a lot of key races across America happening right now, but one could argue that the U.S. House race here in Alaska is one of those. Millions of dollars have been put into this race, tens of millions when you include outside sources as well. And we have spoken with Nick Begich multiple times leading up to this election. He's pretty happy with the way that his campaign has gone, is what he has communicated with us in prior interviews. He was out sign waving this morning at around 7. You may or may not have seen him vote yesterday, as we caught on Alaska's news source earlier in the day. He had to wait in line, but he got that vote in, just as we hope everyone else got their votes in as well. So very exciting time. A reminder, though, of course, that those official results for the U.S. House race here, they're going to take a little bit longer. They're going to take a little bit longer just because of the ranked choice voting system that is in place right now. We, of course, know there's a ballot measure eyeing that on the ballot this year. But again, we'll be waiting over the next few weeks to see those final results. That tabulation slated for November the 20th. But hopefully we'll have some of those Division of Elections results, early results, here soon. Tracy? I mean, for this race, obviously, I want to see that early set of results come down, just because there were so many early voters who went out, cast their ballots here in Alaska. But of course, the balance in the Senate, we know, I believe Republicans have gained a couple of seats. That's a really interesting race to follow. But, you know, again, lots of key races happening across the country right now, aside from the presidential election. And then another thing here locally for us Alaskans is what is going on in the legislature. We have tens of, sorry, I can hear you a little bit in the background, but we have tens of races that are involving people vying for state legislative seats here in Alaska. So that's something we really want to watch as well. You know, one person obviously can make a difference. A reason why lots of people are eyeing Alaska and the U.S. House race right now. But when you talk about lots of different seats being shaken up, that's the Alaska State Legislature this year. And we are looking forward to those results too. Tracy?
Thank you very much, Beth, and I'll let you go get do what you're going to do. Go get talk to some people down there. We appreciate you checking in with us, and I apologize. I had turned down my microphone and I turned the wrong one back up when I came back on. So I appreciate everybody's patience when I grabbed the wrong switch. So we've got just about 5 minutes before the polls close here in Alaska. We are expecting to see results probably around 8:45, 9 o'clock. That's about the time limit when the division election says those first results will be coming in. And of course, we'll jump back here on the digital desk as soon as that happens, and just give everybody a chance to get those first results. As Beth pointed out, we do have the ranked choice voting means that some of those races will not be called until November 20th. So thank you very much for joining us here on our digital desk at Alaska's News Source. Have yourself a great evening.